So last week we talked about this box method of using to FOIL or to distribute using standard form. So today we're going to kind of recap a little bit of that and move forward with distributing. So if you see how this works, kind of like your Punnett squares in science, we have this x times this x gives us x squared. Then I have x plus 5 times, x times 5 gives me x5. And then I multiply the 3 times the x and get 3x, and then multiply 3 times 5 and get 15. That's how they got this x squared plus 8 equals 15. They actually combined it, since they knew that these two were x's, they combined them together to get 8. So showing with your sketching tool where the 8 comes from. So what you would do is circle the 5x and the 3x. So now we have to figure out, if I only have one pair of parentheses for my standard form, what would be the other? Well, let's see. This, I know x times something gives me x squared, so that's going to be an x. And x times something gives me 4. So I know that that's a plus 4. Let's see if we got it. Well, we'll find out in the next slide. So now, what we're going to do is kind of work backwards now. So we have to figure out what the other pair is. Okay? We have to figure out what is the other pair to match these. What plus 4 will give me 11? Well, 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 1 more would be 7. And let's compare. I know that x times x is going to give me x squared, and x times 7 will give me x7, and then 4x, right? And then I need to take 4 and multiply it by 7. Is that going to give me 28? Absolutely. So I know that this one's going to be paired together. Well, let's see. What plus 4 will give me 9? So I know that plus 6 gives me 10. So must be 5, right? Well, let's see. X times x is x squared, and x times 5 gives me 5x, plus a 4x would give me 9, and 5 times 4 is 20. Now, I don't have a little screen down here, but let me pop one up. There we go. All right, so this is what I'm doing essentially. I have x squared plus 6x plus 9. So what I have here is already plus 3. I know that since this x squared, the first number has to be x, right? Now I just need to figure out what the heck is going to go here. Well, I do have some options. I have 3, -7, and 2. Here's how I think of it. I know that I have x squared and then plus or minus some type of x plus 3x plus whatever 3 times a number is going to give me 9. Well, I know that the factors of 9 are 3 and 3. So it's got to be 3. But let's see. Is 3 plus 3 give me 6? Yeah, because remember, I still have to get this number. So it's definitely going to be a plus 3 for this one. And just to make sure I got it right, let's factor it out. Let's see if I get it. This is what's super cool about this method is I can plug and chug and test them out. Feel free to also write them down on a paper and test it out, because guess what? We're all learning together. So x squared plus 3x plus another 3x, and 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so I got the 9 right. Perfect. 3 plus 3 is 6. Yay! I got it right. Woohoo! All right, so now our last one over here, or second to last one. Let's try figure out this x squared minus 13x plus 42. All right, so I have x minus 6, and then obviously x something, right? Plus or minus something. Well, I know that this is going to give me x squared. Let me back up real quick. So I have the equation x squared minus 13x plus 42. Well, this positive 42 actually is either two positive numbers or two negative numbers. Well, since I know this negative 6 is negative, I need to have negative 6 times something gives me 42. Well, I know it has to be negative. So 6 times 6 is, no, not enough, 36. 6 times 7, though, is 42. So let's try minus 7. This would give me x squared minus 7x minus 6x plus 42. So I got the 42 correct so far, but I need to make sure that negative 7 and negative 6 does equal 13, which it does. So this one is actually going to match right here. Now for our last one. And this just takes practice. So I have x squared minus 4. Well, let's see. Obviously, I'm left with plus 2, but let's double check. So x squared, plus 2x minus 2x minus 4. Okay, so the negative 4 is right. Ah, no wonder there's no x's in the center, because look, 2x minus 2x cancels out, and I'm just left with x minus 4. Interesting. How cool is that? So let's get a little bit more practice here. Sometimes we don't have either factor, so we'd have to work backwards to figure it out. This x squared, well, I know for a darn fact every time it's going to be x in front. Now I have, assuming that there's an x here. Here, let me draw it out for you. Alright, so I know there has to be an x here, right? Because this is multiplication. I'm just going to put this multiplication sign here just to remind myself. You don't have to, but x times x does give me x squared. But what times x will give me 2x? Well, I know it's got to be a plus 2 or a positive 2. Alright, so then I can look down here. What times this x will give me 7? Well, 7x definitely would give me that, a positive 7. So let's see. 7 times 2, that does check out and equal 14. So I have x plus 2 and x plus 7. You can write them in any order. It doesn't necessarily matter. There we go. Alright, and if you hit submit, let's try the next slide here. Now we're going to do the card sorting. So again, the same exact thing. So now what we have to figure out is, okay, I had to figure out both sets. So what I'm going to do on my paper, I'm going to make my own square here, and I'm actually going to start with this first one here. So x squared. So what I'm going to put is x squared in this first box. Well, I know that it has to be x and x. Okay. A 12. I need to get a negative 12 down in this box. Meaning I have to have a positive number and I have to have a negative number. So I'm just going to assume let's do negative and let's do positive. Well, let's see. I know that 3 times the factors of 12 are 3 and 4. And also 6 and 2. So I'm definitely going to test this out and I'm going to try either. I'm going to do a plus 6. Let's try that. Let's do plus 6 and a negative 2. Let's see. So I'd get 6x here and I'd get a negative 2x. Well, 6 minus 2 would give me a positive 4, not a negative 4. So let's try switching these. Let's try making this one positive and this one negative. So let's do negative 6 and 2. Well, 2 here, and 6, if I owe you $6 and I take away 2, I owe you $4. Awesome. So that looks like that's going to be one of our answers. So I'm going to I'm going to make sure first, I do have a negative 6, and I do have a positive 2. So let's check and make sure that 4 and 3 don't work. Well, I can mathematically, in my brain, go, okay, if I have negative 4, Negative 4 plus 3 is going to be negative 1. And either way, even if I had a positive 3 and a negative 3 and a positive 4, it would still be 1. So that's my best option. So all I'm doing here essentially is plugging and chugging and trying out different factors that I know about these numbers. All right, so let's move to the second one here. I have 11 and 10. So I have a positive 10 here, which kind of makes things a little bit easier. Well, the factors of 10 are 10 and 1, and also 5 and 2. Those are the only two sets of factors that I can use. Let's try 5 and 2, because I know that they're both going to be positive, and I need to get to 11. So let's see, plus 5 plus 2. So this would give me a 5x, and this would give me a 2x. 5x plus 2x gives me 7x. So it can't be this one, even if I flipped it. So it can't be that set of factors. So let's try 10 and 1. So 10 times x is going to give me 10x, x times 1. That equals 11x. So if I break it out, right, x squared plus 10x plus x plus 10, that's going to give me 11x plus 10. Wow, this is so cool. We can definitely factor in different ways. So let's make sure we have both a positive 10 and a positive 1, which in this case we do. Sweet. See how this factor box can definitely help us, especially with working backwards. All right, so now what I have is a positive 3 and a negative 10. So we always deal with this negative 10, or the last number, our y-intercept. We need to figure out those factors first. So I have 10 and 1, and I have 5 and 2. So one of them has to be negative, and one of them has to be positive. So let's try, I already used my 10 and 1, and I can see over here that that can't be an option. So, but let's try our 5 and 2. Let's put 2 here and 5 here. Let's do a negative 5 and a positive 2. 2 times x gives me 2x. Negative 5 times x gives me a negative 5x. So negative 5x plus 2x actually gives me, make this a little bit wider. It gives me, let's see, if I owe you $5 and I only give you 2, that's negative 3x. So I'm actually looking for positive 3x. So let's flip them around. Let's try a negative 2 and a positive 5 and see what we get. So let's see, 5 and negative 2. So 5 and 2, or negative 2. So now I have 5x minus 2x, that gives me my positive 3x. So I definitely know for suresies that these two go together. And of course, the last set right here, let's double check real quick and see what we get. Because, you know, process of elimination, but let's just triple check because maybe we got one of these wrong. I don't know. All right, so we have a plus 6 and a plus 4. Well, 6 and 4, 6 times 4 is 24. If I add these two together, I get 10x plus 24 and an x squared. Oh, look, match exactly the same. So now we're going to start again and do it again, but we're going to have to start a new video for the last few.